There's no way President Trump would accept that deal. He's called Meghan Markle nasty and says he feels sorry for Prince Harry because his wife is a lot to deal with. Trump says he hates the way that Harry dealt with the late Queen, and judging by his friendliness towards King Charles.
She didn't hold back for a single second. With the cameras rolling and millions watching, Johansson called them out as Hollywood's royal freeloaders, mocking their Netflix flop, their endless whining, and their knack for turning every inconvenience into a headline. The audience roared with laughter, but for Harry and Meghan, the laughter cut deeper than any tabloid headline. Because when an A-list actress like Scarlett Johansson turns you into a punchline on live TV, it's not just comedy. It's a cultural verdict.
For poor Meghan, she's been threatened with a $10 million lawsuit after a woman suffered catastrophic burns, allegedly from the Duchess's do-it-yourself bath salt recipe. This is a recipe that Kinsey featured on her Netflix show. What else can you tell me about this?
Scarlett came out swinging, lampooning Meghan's obsession with privacy while reminding the audience of her 6-part Netflix special and staged paparazzi strolls. She mocked Harry's memoir as the world's longest drunk text and skewered their endless rebranding attempts from royalty to podcasters to lifestyle gurus, all without landing on anything of substance. Every punchline landed harder because it wasn't just comedy, it was truth disguised as satire. The crowd wasn't just laughing at the jokes, they were laughing at Harry and Meghan themselves. What made it devastating was NBC's decision to air every single word unedited, despite Meghan's team allegedly trying to pre-negotiate what could be said. That silence from the network spoke volumes. Scarlett's roast wasn't just tolerated, it was endorsed. For the Sussexes, that's the nightmare. Because when mainstream media decides you're fair game, it's over.
No pun intended, have legs. Attorney Christopher Melcher, who's based in Hollywood here, told me that Netflix could have and probably should have put a disclaimer on the screen to save their own skin, saying, consult a doctor or seek medical advice if you're looking for something specific. Now, the Meghan fan, this is crazy, said she's willing to resolve the matter without litigation if a financial settlement can be reached. Feels like a little bit of a shake.
One built on royal resentment, endless victim theatrics, and tone-deaf entitlement. From the very start, Johansson landed her punchlines with ruthless precision. She painted Prince Harry and Meghan Markle as Netflix's favorite ex-royals, who have now turned into full-time complainers. The moment was brutal. Her scathing line sent shockwaves through the live audience. The response? Explosive roars of laughter and waves of applause. But buried in that laughter was a piercing truth. The world is exhausted with the Sussexes' never-ending parade of complaints. Every appearance, every documentary, every podcast, somehow it always loops back to the same theme of being misunderstood and endlessly victimized. Now, that tired narrative has grown so self-indulgent that even late-night comedians are openly using it as a weapon against them. Johansson's jab wasn't just a joke, it cut into a cultural fatigue that's been simmering for years. After endless interviews, mega-million deals, and a royal memoir that played more like a therapy session than an actual biography, the public doesn't see Harry and Meghan as brave truth-tellers anymore. Instead, they're viewed as attention-hungry opportunists hiding beneath a cloak of victimhood. Johansson then followed up with one of the most savage lines of the night. Only Meghan Markle could turn a royal wedding into a 3-season trauma series. It was biting, it was merciless, and it was shockingly accurate, echoing commentary long shouted by the British press.
Now, just before we speak to Angela Levin, she's going to like this, royal biographer, our favourite royal biographer, of course, and Prince Harry's biographer, mind you. Kevin O'Sullivan last night, or the night before, decided he wanted to bring in some of Meghan's jam. He actually ordered it online, managed to get some.
Where the Times, the Telegraph, and even the Spectator have slammed Meghan for endlessly repackaging her personal life into high-profit media projects, her wedding, once hailed as a modern-day royal fairy tale, has been dragged out again and again in interviews, podcasts, and Netflix specials. What was once magical is now recycled material on repeat. But NBC wasn't buying into the drama. The network's legal team stood tall, pointing directly to the U.S. Constitution's powerful shield for satire and parody. The result? Every single cutting joke went on air without a single edit. This wasn't just a refusal to cave, it was a loud message. The entertainment world no longer treats Harry and Meghan as untouchable royalty. they're fair game for ridicule now.
Quite nice packaging, I'll give it that. Nicer than I thought it would be. Ta-da! Yeah, I mean, it doesn't overwhelm you. Here we go, the magic moment. It is very thin, I'd say that, but there are a few lumps.
Their once sympathetic saga has curdled into something corporate media no longer hesitates to lampoon. NBC made a cold, calculated choice. Scarlett's razor-sharp comedy had more value than Harry and Meghan's predictable outrage. And in a post-Oprah world, that speaks volumes when Johansson delivered the biting line, "I can't wait for their next podcast, How We Survived a $14 million Mansion." The audience didn't just laugh, they erupted. It wasn't polite chuckling, it was the kind of explosive laughter that shows total public buy-in. That single moment captured it all. The world has stopped tiptoeing around Harry and Meghan, the media is no longer afraid to tear into them, and the crowd proved it with roaring approval.
Entitlement, greed, avarice and deception.
Well, we've got it on crackers here, so we probably should have a bit more on. So I'm licking.
The audience isn't afraid to laugh at them anymore, and that marks a monumental shift from 2020 when Harry and Meghan were still surfing the wave of post-Megxit sympathy. The SNL stage, once a spotlight for progressive heroes and culture-shaping icons, had transformed into the Sussexes' courtroom, and the verdict was merciless. Scarlett Johansson didn't just toss out a couple of jokes. She ripped the mask off two of the most image-obsessed figures in modern media, and she did it live, with the nation glued to their screens. If Harry and Meghan believed Hollywood would shield them forever, this was a brutal reality check. The PR fortress is crumbling, the satire is sharper than ever, and for once, they have no control over the script. If Johansson's SNL takedown was a dagger, what came next was the twist that made it cut even deeper.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. I mean, nothing to write. It's not worth $14.
Brilliant. Another reward coming for Kevin O'Sullivan in his show there. Why is he licking the cracker? What's wrong with him? Anyway, Angela Levin's here. Angela, sorry to show that to you.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle may have forced out a laugh through clenched teeth, but the cultural backlash that followed that viral monologue sent their fragile PR machine into full-blown damage control. What they never expected was that Scarlett's punch didn't just land with the public, it rattled Hollywood itself. Within days, their polished celebrity image began to show cracks. Behind closed doors of talent agencies, Netflix boardrooms, and even at Archewell headquarters, panic started bubbling. And why? Because when late-night satire flips against you, it's the ultimate warning sign. You're no longer admired, you're mocked.
Actually logging on to some website to organise myself to pay, whatever it is, 10, 15, 18 quid or something for some jam that I could buy in the supermarket for about a quid, 2 quid or something like that.
Well, from King's Charles, he's got wonderful jam.
He has indeed. I mean,
let's break into how Scarlett's segment unleashed a ripple effect of humiliating consequences that the Sussexes are still scrambling to contain. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Meghan Markle was reportedly furious backstage after the SNL roast aired. One close insider even claimed she blasted the monologue as disgusting, sexist, and dangerous. But here's the reality. Those accusations have become Meghan's go-to defense playbook anytime she's confronted in the public eye. Let's pull it apart. The monologue wasn't sexist. It wasn't dangerous. It was satire that struck a nerve because it was rooted in cold, verifiable public perception. It mirrored what's already been widely echoed in the press, that Meghan has turned her royal experience into a weaponized tool for personal gain and non-stop enrichment.
Shall we say, irritating wife?
Yes, I think that's really funny. It made me laugh because I wondered about all these things. Is Meghan doing that because she's setting up another career for herself, that she can advise people?
All while presenting herself as a marginalized victim, draped in designer couture, living in multi-million-dollar mansions, and pocketing lucrative Spotify deals. What Meghan really found disgusting wasn't the monologue's content, it was the unfiltered exposure. For someone obsessed with micromanaging her image through staged interviews and carefully scrubbed media appearances, raw and unscripted critique is the deadliest threat of all. After the SNL broadcast, an anonymous Netflix executive reportedly told the Daily Beast, "The tide has turned, people aren't afraid to laugh at them anymore." That chilling statement said it all. When the public starts laughing, it's already over. And he wasn't wrong. Since Harry and Meghan dropped on Netflix in 2022 and Spare followed in 2023, their content has nosedived in both popularity and credibility. Meghan's $20 million Spotify deal was brutally axed in 2023, with executives later branding the podcast a grifter-level operation. And now, even inside Hollywood, agents whisper that the Sussexes are becoming box office poison, a label once slapped on fading tabloid stars, not supposed global royals. The SNL humiliation was just the latest warning shot in a much bigger industry. Recoil, what began as royal exile, had once blossomed into a Hollywood embrace, but that embrace is quickly tightening into a suffocating chokehold. Scarlett's roast wasn't mere late-night comedy, it was the entertainment industry's hidden consensus finally spilling into the open. And here's where things turned even more brutal. Multiple insiders at CAA and WME, two of Hollywood's most powerful talent agencies, confirmed to Puck News that Johansson's SNL clip was quietly circulated behind the scenes as a pulse check on public sentiment. The purpose? To see if mocking the Sussexes would trigger backlash or spark applause. The verdict was crystal clear: applause, and plenty of it. Executives reportedly felt emboldened by the reaction, with one senior agent flat out declaring, "If Johansson can go there, so can we." This is nothing short of catastrophic for Harry and Meghan. The protective shield of hands-off respectability they've long used to block criticism has finally shattered. They're no longer painted as a philanthropic power couple with moral authority. They're reduced to punchlines. And in Hollywood, once you become the joke, your career clock starts ticking. The silence around them has been deafening. Why? Because no one in the industry wants their name tied to a sinking brand. When public perception nosedives this sharply, Hollywood allies don't hesitate. They jump ship. Insiders close to Beyoncé's management team even confirmed the singer has no ongoing commercial ties to the couple, despite Meghan desperately trying to spin their brief 2019 Lion King red carpet moment into proof of A-list approval. Scarlett's performance didn't just torch Harry and Meghan, it humiliated every defender who ever vouched for them. And in Hollywood, a town obsessed with image above all else, association matters far more than the truth ever could. Now, those once precious associations are collapsing piece by piece. Scarlett Johansson's 4-minute monologue wasn't just a comedic knockout, it was a cultural reckoning. It ripped away the carefully polished veil covering Harry and Meghan's fading influence, exposing them for exactly what they've become: self-absorbed ex-royals trapped inside their own echo chamber. If this was their trial by laughter, the verdict couldn't be clearer. And let's be honest, the public isn't laughing with them anymore. They're laughing at them. That shift is devastating. Here's where the fallout turns even sharper. This final act isn't about sympathy or excuses. It's about exposure, hypocrisy, and a brand collapsing under its own weight. Scarlett Johansson's SNL roast didn't just land as a celebrity jab, it played out like a cultural excommunication. When she turned Prince Harry and Meghan Markle into the punchline, the message was loud and merciless. Their reign in Hollywood is over. Overnight, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex lost their untouchable status. But beyond the waves of laughter, Scarlett's jokes exposed something far more devastating: their hypocrisy. In this final segment, we break down how Scarlett's barbs ripped the mask off their lies, forced the media to re-examine their glossy claims, and left Harry and Meghan scrambling to contain a PR disaster they never saw coming. One of Scarlett's sharpest punchlines was fired straight at their nonprofit Archewell. She quipped, "Archewell was launched as a humanitarian brand, but in 4 years it has produced little more than vague mission statements, an abandoned Spotify podcast, and a Netflix docuseries packed with royal gossip." And the sting? Tax filings in 2023 revealed that Archewell spent more on public relations than on actual charitable grants. Scarlett's jab wasn't exaggeration, it was rooted in hard, uncomfortable truth. And it hit like a hammer. because Scarlett's line exposed Archewell as little more than a hollow vanity project built for optics, not true impact. Even Forbes jumped in just days later, running a headline that openly questioned the foundation's actual accomplishments. When late-night comedy starts steering serious journalism, it's a sign the mask has finally slipped. Scarlett didn't let Prince Harry off the hook either. One of her jokes struck especially hard. So wait, Harry lives in California, writes a book slamming his family, dodges taxes, and still hasn't applied for U.S. citizenship? Sounds like he wants all the avocado toast, but none of the responsibility. The crowd erupted because beneath the laugh was a brutal truth. That punchline ripped open one of Harry's most controversial choices, his refusal to pursue U.S. citizenship despite living in California for more than 4 years. According to legal experts, Harry may even be skirting major disclosures, like whether he has relied on diplomatic exemptions tied to his visa status.